great. Bless this meeting and all who participate. We thank you that you are our rock and our foundation, and our hope is in you, in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And now the priestly blessing, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he give you his peace and favor. Amen.
All right, Councilwoman Hebert for the pledge. All right, thank you, everyone. All right, so up first is going to be the agenda approval, and I have one note up here that we have Scott and Bo Melvin in the audience, so I just wanted to put that at the 1B after the Rotary, and that way they can come up and just have whatever they have to say real quick. So I was. What do you want to do? Nothing. I just need to put up. Is he in the agenda? Are they in the agenda? Okay, no, so I'm just going to put something up there for Scott and Bo, just under 1B, call it. So not moving, just going to give them a minute to for a public presentation / comment. Yep.
I'll make the motion to approve with changes.
Second. All right, with the motion is second, I'll call the vote. All right, ayes have it, so moved. All right, so first up is going to be the proclamation by the Rotary Club of Destin. Almost said it backwards. All right. Okay. I think Tamara will get us on the photos. So if you guys want to step back here, facing that way, and that way we can get a photo and everything. And
Right here, but there.
yeah. And then if the podium's going to be in the way, should we shift? Yeah, let's just all take ourselves to the right. Other side of the podium. Get a good photo. It's all about the photo. All right. Take the photo first. All right, good deal. All right. So I wonder why you're here right now. All right, good deal. Awesome. So Destin Rotary Club is here, and they have a yearly award, and with that award comes a proclamation from the City of Destin, so hang on, it's a little wordy. All right, so the City of Destin proclamation, the Citizen Above Self Award recognizing the citizens of Destin. Whereas Rotary International, founded on February 23rd, 1905 in Chicago, Illinois, USA, is the world's first and one of the largest nonprofit services organizations. And whereas there are over 1.2 million Rotarian members comprised of professional and business leaders in over 23,000 clubs in 200 countries and geographic areas. And whereas the Rotary motto, Service Above Self, inspires members to provide humanitarian services, encourages high ethical standards, and promotes goodwill and peace in the world. And whereas Rotary International founds club projects and sponsors volunteers with community experience to provide medical supplies, healthcare, clean water, food production, job training, and education to millions in need. Whereas the members of the Rotary Club of Destin have provided the citizens of Destin and Okaloosa County with numerous projects that provide education, environmental, and services to our land area. And whereas the Rotary Club of Destin wishes to recognize individuals who provide selfless service to our community. Whereas Mr. Joe J.D. Lohman of the United States Postal Service received a nomination citing his positive attitude, friendliness, selfishness, and generous approach to his vocation and over 20 years of service in our community. Now, therefore, I, Bobby Wagner, Mayor, along the City Council of Destin, Florida, do hereby proclaim June 5th, 2023 as a Rotary Club of Destin's Citizen Above Self Day in the city of Destin, and encourage all citizens to join me in recognizing Mr. Joe Lohman as recipient of the 2023 award. Congratulations. So I really appreciate it. So at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Marcia Hall, who is the president this year, and put her on the spot.
Well, gosh, I didn't know that. Thank you so much. This is a great award that started by Brenda Gray that she did in another Rotary Club. So we started it last year. And Gail Pelto here, I'm ready to move into your neighborhood. so I can have you as my postal man. But I do like mine, too. But anyway, the Rotary Club of Destin is here to provide services across the street and around the world. We just completed at Destin Middle School a outdoor learning space that we all acted together, and Rotary is people of action. So we also have an Interact Club at the Destin High School now, as well as the middle school celebrating their 10 years. So we may be small, but we're mighty, and we're behind the scenes, but we're here to help those in need. So thank you so much, and congratulations, JD. Right.
All right. Thank you so much. Congratulations again.
See you tomorrow.
All right, so with that, Scott and Bo, you guys still in the audience? Oh, yes, sir. So just hit that button, and it'll turn red, and then you guys can have the floor.
I really appreciate you guys coming up tonight. They were working with staff all day planning the actual ribbon cutting ceremony, which will be held on July the 18th at 9 a.m. at the new park. I can't say enough about the way they talked about it this morning, so I was hoping they would come and talk about it a little bit tonight. I'm blessed that you guys they're here tonight, so thank you for doing this.
Well, thank y'all, Mr. Mayor and City Council members, for having us. It has been a wonderful procedure that Ms. Lisa Firth has helped us along with. We look forward to the ribbon cutting. It's been a long process, we understand, we know. On behalf of Captain Royal Melvin's family, my brother and I would like to thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts that's been involved in this.
Everyone.
Yeah, he would be very, very humble and proud. So other than that, anything?
Yeah, he never in his whole life would ever dream about having an honor like this, having a park named for him. So just want to thank everyone for all your hard work. Thanks from the family.
Yeah, and then we started off with our grandparents, Millard and Sarah. Without them, none of this would happen.
Wow.
So we definitely want to acknowledge their presence and know that they would have been very proud. They lived there all their lives, so it's a great honor for the Melvin family. And we look forward to the ribbon cutting. My granddaughter, Mackenzie Harris, will be involved. She'll be cutting the ribbon for us with my son and daughter along with us. So we look forward to seeing everybody, and it was a pretty day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
y'all
you
very
guys so
much
much.
for the time.
All right, so we'll be moving into the second topic, which is public comment. So at this time, starting from my right, y'all's left, if anyone wants to speak on anything on the agenda tonight or just anything on your mind, the only thing we would ask you to refrain from is anything from the public hearing topic. So if you guys have anything, this is your time to speak about anything. Yes, sir. Just say your name, address, and make sure the light is on.
How you doing, sir? I'm Tech Sergeant William Bersaglio, active duty Air Force. Thank you for giving me the time to speak to you guys for a few minutes. I noticed that you guys have a demolition project over there off of 98. It is the Old Time Pottery and the Cinema 10. I'm a curator of old signs. I wish I could save them all, and those Cinema 10 signs are up there on the building. I was wondering if there's any way I could acquire those, or how would we go about doing that, if that's a possibility?
I think you let me take that real quick. I think if you will work with myself, I can get you with the staff who can get you in contact with the organization that just bought that property. And that would be where we could see what they think about that. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for your time.
All right, moving right along. Anyone center row? Yes, sir.
Claude Perry, 732 Harbor Boulevard. I was looking at the agenda, and I do not see anything on here about Councilman Destin several meetings back requested the city manager check in with the property owner, whoever that is at the moment, that owns the property that the gentleman was referring to. Publix perhaps is the owner. But where do we stand? We were, the idea was to pursue some joint venture with the city, and I wonder if we could get an update. I haven't heard, and I might have missed it on one of the other meetings. Is it possible to get an update of where we are?
I'd be happy to do that, Mr. Perry. We had a meeting scheduled for last week with both Publix and a developer that wanted to use part of the property for other reasons. And we were going to, the staff and those developers, along with the council representative, as Councilman Schmidt, we're going to meet with them. At the last minute, one of the parties was unable to attend, so we're rescheduling that meeting for later on this next week, is my understanding. For now, yes, it is.
Would you all be willing to give us some updates as we go along here?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else in the middle? Seeing none. Anyone else on the wing?
John Stevens, 4025 Indian Trail. I just returned back from the Boating Advisory Council meeting that we had last week, and we discussed derelict vessels in depth. And there's actually an opportunity to remove derelict vessels before they become derelict vessels. It's called the At-Risk Vessel Program. So there's 6 situations that could qualify for it. One's taking on water without an effective means to dewater it. Spaces on the vessel open to the elements, such as like a hatch that's just no longer there and just water going into it. Pretty much it broke loose or is in danger of breaking loose. Listing due to water intrusion, or no effective means of propulsion, or tied to an unpermitted structure or mooring. Pretty much what any law enforcement can do is all they have to do is go inspect it, and then they can submit it. They give the boat owner 30 days to resolve it. If they don't, if they got 3 offenses within 18 months, then that vessel can automatically be removed. If the vessel owner decides not to pursue it, there is a program called the Vessel Turn-In Program where they can actually turn the vessel over to the state. And I gave a whole bunch of packets to Lance already. So just figured I'd let y'all know about this program.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else? All right. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public comments at this time, and we will be moving to the consent agenda. Anyone have anything they want to poll, or would we like to go forward?
I'll make a motion to approve as is.
All right. I got a motion on the floor.
Second.
A second. I'm going to call the vote. All right. Ayes have it. So moved. All right. Moving right along. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First up, we've got our IT Director confirmation, and Mr. Andy Peters is online. He just came up, so we can see you fine. I hope you can hear us okay. If you can, if you want to go ahead and address the council and with anything you wanted to say, and then we can come back.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. Can you all hear me? All right. I look forward to meeting each of you, and I'm excited about coming to Destin with my family. We've got 5 kids. One of them's older. He's going to be staying here going to college, but the rest of them are going to come join the community, join the schools. And I'm excited reading through your bios. I got to meet a couple of you this week, and you already have a very robust IT ecosystem, and it's going to be exciting to dive in. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, I'll see you down there.
Awesome. All right, so we have one right now.
So this is Councilwoman Abear, in case you couldn't tell. When do you plan to come and be full-time here? Is it within a month or 2 months? What is your move date?
So I have a plane ticket for the 22nd of this month. We've got all of our moving almost done, just a couple last items, and then my family will come soon after that. My first day in the office will be the 26th. And then I'll also be jumping on board remote to help your local staff out in the meantime with a couple issues they have.
Great. Look forward to seeing you, and I will meet you when you get here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor.
Hey, Andy, Jim Bagby, what class and squadron or flight were you at the Air Force Academy?
I graduated in fighting 4th. And I guess I was in Reb 11 for the first 2 years. So.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Seeing nothing else, thank you so much. We're excited to have you part of the team.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Mayor, there's a motion on the floor. The
Yes.
recommended motion.
So do I hear? Did someone make a motion? Do we
No.
need a motion? All right.
There's a recommended
I'll
motion.
entertain a motion for the IT director.
I'll
at
make
this
that motion to approve.
Second.
time. Any further discussion? Thank you, Ray. All right. Congratulations. He's officially in.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'll go on to item B, which is the acquisition of property for the Crosstown Connector. As you know, we only have one property left that we need to acquire to get this project underway. We had a bit of a snag, in my opinion, kind of put a bitter taste in my mouth a little bit, but it is what it is. Staff didn't do anything incorrectly. We have an individual working with our contractor who's taking care of these acquisitions, and we've got Jeff Kozat here who can give you a summary of where we stand and what our options are at this point moving forward.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. We do have an updated purchase agreement that I provided you all last week. You have a copy of that here tonight as well. It includes the purchase of the property for the owner, for us buying it from the owner, and the agreement would also allow for funds for her to have replacement housing, which she's allowed. It is an increased amount that's above ordinary because there is a mortgage on the property that would have to be satisfied. And in order for that to happen, we would have to pay that off as part of the closing. But if we do so, we'll have a good title to the property, and it will be the last property. So I have Marcia Hayes online that she can answer any questions you might have or provide any additional information. As far as the funding for this goes, this may exceed the TRIP funding that we have available, but we do have other funds already budgeted for this year. So the funding shouldn't be an issue either.
All right, so I got a couple Christmas trees here. So first up,
And
Councilor.
Before we go on, I'm sorry, I just want to interject that this would qualify under TRIP for reimbursement if we get the additional funding.
That is correct.
All right, Councilwoman Aber.
Okay, so the additional cost is exactly how much more money are we having to pay for this after this delay and finally finding out she's in foreclosure?
It's approximately an extra $100,000.
And am I correct in hearing that Lance said that we may be able to get that funding back? Is that what Marcia's on the line to help us feel?
She can speak to that as well. She's had conversations regarding the possibility of getting additional funding and whether that would be eligible or not. And she believes that would be an eligible cost. So if we do end up needing that money, there's a good chance we can probably do an amendment to the grant agreement we have now and get some additional funding. But if we don't, we have other sources for that as well.
All right, thank you. Councilman Destin.
So this is 100,000 more or less, that's correct?
That's correct.
To pay off the foreclosure?
That's correct.
And when did we learn of the foreclosure?
Marcia made me aware of that, I believe, last Tuesday night or last Wednesday. Maybe she could speak to that a little bit. Marcia, are you available?
And when was the?
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The letter was returned 30th, and Jeff of it spoke with DOT.
Marcia, you're cutting out pretty bad.
We can't hear.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's possible it might be your internet connection. There is a phone number you can call as well if you need to. It should be on the invitation that you received in your email.
Okay. Okay, am I still cutting it?
So far, so good.
Okay. I discovered.
Never mind.
Nope, need you to call in.
Okay, all right.
Apologies, y'all.
I believe the notice was filed last Tuesday. So we became aware of it, last Tuesday or last Wednesday. It was last Thursday that we were able to arrange for a new purchase agreement with the owner. And then it was Friday that I sent the council the email updating them as to the situation and provided a copy of the new purchase agreement at that time.
So when was the foreclosure action filed?
I'm not sure about that.
Well, if you looked in the public record, you'd find it was filed in 22. A dummy like me can find it. So it appears that not a lot of real good faith was going in this negotiations. I know, I think the customers were gonna, people that were sellers were gonna try to pay it off, but the fact is now we negotiated a price, but it's 100,000 more because there's a judgment against the property. And so, I don't know how we couldn't have noticed that. And in most real estate world, when you buy something from somebody and there's a judgment against it, it comes off the price and you give them the difference. I also noticed that this property is scheduled to be sold at auction in July the 10th.
That is correct.
So an option would be to buy it then, and I would speculate it would be much less money. But, this leaves a really bad taste in my mouth that we were dealing with somebody, and now instead of saying, okay, we're going to take the 100,000 off the price and take the rest of the money, they expect us just to pay the extra 100,000. Is that basically the way it's going?
In a normal circumstance, what the individual would do is acquire a new mortgage for that amount. So with the new replacement house they bought, they would have a small mortgage on in a similar amount to the mortgage they had on this house. This individual situation, that is not a possibility.
So when do you do it? When do you do title work and a title policy when you buy property?
We have been doing it once we get the purchase agreement signed and executed. Then I go ahead and I send the title request over to Kyle's office to start with.
Okay, I don't have any other questions other than I would suggest in the downside to waiting for the auction, which is in July. What's the downside of that, we think?
Well, it'd be an open auction, so there would be individuals there who might realize the importance of this property to our project and might be very motivated to purchase it.
And at that point, we still have the ability to condemn the property. Is that not true?
You mean in the sense of if they were to buy it, to do a taking, to an eminent domain?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a possibility. We could do that, but I don't believe any of that activity would be reimbursable by TRIP.
And they would have to go before a judge and explain why they were trying to buy the property so they could leverage us and get more money. That would be an interesting explanation to a judge, I would think.
I can't comment on that.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
Do you have anything for Marcia? I think we're back online with her. All right. Yeah, Marcia, do you want to jump back in?
Sure. I did discover the loose pendants well in advance of this, and we did order title work prior to this becoming a final judgment. I did reach out to the lender and to the foreclosure attorney, but I had received no response from either one to work with me. And then I just so happened to be in the public records to see if there was any activity on the parcel, and found the final judgment, which was recorded the same day, which was May 30th. It was recorded May 30th. It was signed by the judge on May 12th. Now, that final judgment, typically it conveys property at that time, but this one does not appear to convey until the sale, which is going to be on July 10th. And at that time, I mean, you would still, even if you bought the property on July 10th, you would still have the occupant of the residence who is a fully entitled individual to relocation benefits, as she is right now, as she was before the foreclosure and before the sale. So that is why I discussed this with DOT, with the right-of-way manager, and she agreed that this would be the best course of action to purchase the property as we have agreed to, pay off the mortgage since it is the final parcel in this acquisition, and move forward. In that light, she said that she would recommend that it would be reimbursable under the TRIP grant.
Any property tax, income tax, any kind of tax liens on the property?
I did not see any tax liens at all on the property. The mortgage holder has been paying the property taxes during this time.
Okay.
All right, Councilman Guile.
I apologize, I'm a little under the weather. I share in Councilman Destin's frustration. I do have a question. Whose responsibility, direct responsibility, was it to find or do the title search work?
The title work was ordered through my office, but like Marcia said, the foreclosure judgment wasn't recorded until May 30th.